Our blades shall sing, our stories made legend. Such is the adage of the sword veil. So entwined were we with our blade dance that the passing of arms from one hand to the next was a given. We are entitled to an opponent's weapon upon their defeat. The offering of one's armaments to the victor was both a mark of respect and of the ultimate trust. We were placing our lifeblood in another's care. Such was the touchstone of our customs. Now, I must stress that our founders preached honor for warriors and their cherished weapons. Both parties must consent to our observances. Pray do not mistake us for simple plunderers. And yet, there's a fine line between idiosyncrasies and heresy. Two sides of the same coin, it could be argued. The passage of time and shifting of sentiments can easily flip this coin for the worse. The fickleness of public opinion is no stranger to the Veil. Our history, chronicled through the ages, is rife with such betrayals. We became unfortunate examples of what can transpire when people fail to understand each other. All it took to light the fuse of distrust was a single match. In a duel fought generations before I was born, the opposing side refused to accept their loss with grace. They called us swindlers, odious cheats employing dark sorcery to steal weapons from good honest folk. Baseless allegations, the lot of them. But sadly, there will always be individuals without scruples who feed on slander and gossip. An embellishment here, a little fib there. Soon we were larcenous villains to the world. That was the beginning of the end to our normal lives. As the presiding head of the Veil, it goes without saying that I was not spared from vilification. Oh, how easy, cathartic even, it would have been to counter hate with hate. It would come at the cost of nothing, except my soul. No, the Veil would not be laid low by fear born of prejudice. We stood strong against those who would cast the first stones. No matter how dark the days grew, our resolve never changed, nor would it ever. I inherited a brilliant legacy, and I had every intention to keep it burning. It was raining that day, a droning downpour that drenched me from head to toe. I sat atop a bluff with my face buried between my knees, the barren landscape a reflection of my heart. The spark I had was gone, smothered by the weight of guiding my clan. We were ashamed to face a world that thought ill of us, and my melancholy was exacerbated by an empty stomach. I can't do this. I can't protect them. The Veil was destined for ruin under my stewardship, but as I sank further into the mire of self-pity, a hand touched me on the shoulder.
You must be hungry. Here, I'm afraid this bread isn't much, but I've plenty for you and yours. Or would you rather have pancakes?
The rain clouds parted as I raised my soaking head, and there was Lilith. Her compassionate smile as warm and inviting as the emerging sun. When was the last time anyone regarded us with kindness? For moons we had fled from the accusing eyes that followed us everywhere. Reaching a new island allowed for some reprieve, though it never lasted for long. Rumors travel in the tailwinds of airships, and we would be on the run again within days. Thus our arrival on this desolate rock. And finally, in these inhospitable borderlands, we found our salvation. Oh, you should have seen the sumptuous feast she prepared for us. And the beds! I'd forgotten what a good night's sleep felt like. Her hospitality was nothing short of a miracle.
I am the shepherd who guides the pilgrims of Avia. Our destination is Estalucia, a utopia for all, a land of everlasting harmony. Help me set the stage for salvation. Together, we shall compose a beautiful ending.
Estalucia sounded too good to be true, like a land found in fairy tale. But the deliverance she offered was irresistible. Even were her offer a fool's errand, what more did I have to lose? If a land in which we were free to live as we pleased did in fact exist, I would be remiss not to give it due consideration. I know now that Lilith was not above underhanded tactics. In retrospect, perhaps the malice we endured that pushed us into her open arms was not entirely organic. A clan of sword conjurers would make for a formidable ally, wouldn't it? Thus we became her personal army, mere soldiers to be exploited in her ambitions. Still, was it really so bad to be pawns if we could once again finally live? Lilith was a shining beacon in our darkest hour. Her sweet promises drew us in like ants to honey. My kindred and I were tired of chasing after a hopeless future. I, therefore, made the decision to join Avia. This was a blessing from the gods. One last chance to reignite our will, to survive and reverse our misfortunes. Better days were surely ahead. We were embarking on a journey free of senseless hostility, away from the hatred that hounded us. How naive.
Mother is attempting to destroy the skies.
Id did not look at me. He kept his eyes trained on the towering monstrosity marring the sky as he spoke through gritted teeth. Following a narrow escape from a collapsing Seed Hollow castle, I had nary a chance to catch my breath before Id made his unsettling claim. Lilith is an astral? What do you mean she intends to sacrifice the Sky Realm? And for her own ambitions? I felt the strength drained from my knees. It couldn't be true. It just couldn't. Everything the Veil had fostered with Avia was all a sham? But even in my disbelief, proof of Lilith's open treachery, this pillar of Ayoi, as she called it, was exposed before the entirety of Zega Grande. Besides, it knew better than to jest in poor taste. In that instant, I realized the hand of salvation that had reached out to us was a farce, and I felt my heart rip in two. Our dream of living as equals in a utopia devoid of discrimination shattered into a million pieces. Memories flooded my mind. I remembered fleeing home at the age of 20. Then, a year later, I met Id and Galanza upon joining Avia. They showed me that the Sky Realm still harbored good people. Those two brightened my days, and for that, I will always be grateful. It's little wonder I came to view them as family. Through their influence, I came to realize that although there may be no utopia bereft of conflict, perhaps it was enough to define this world with good deeds and strive for a better place. In this way, their acknowledgement of my clan slowly dispelled the haze of cynicism that clouded my judgment. The sky's annihilation had to be thwarted. The Veil had sworn itself above hatred. an oath made possible only by this world and its inhabitants. But the siren song call of Lilith's power was undeniable. As head of the clan, I was responsible for their protection, and to that end, rallying behind Lilith seemed the correct choice. As tumultuous waves of indecision gripped my heart, Id's own resolve became my compass.
Mother ended my mission to protect the shaman. Said it was no longer necessary. That's when I realized she saw Lyria as no more than a tool. It's funny. I started protecting Lyria out of blind obedience to Mother. But now, I'm going to keep her safe as a final act of defiance. Because I know, I've always known, it's the right thing to do.
I'd never heard my dear little brother speak with such fierce conviction. His fire sparked a change in me. The dormant flame of courage, anger, and determination blazed to life. Id's words and the resolve in his eyes had given me the strength to rebel against Lilith. Feast your eyes upon my next piece. This scorching blade of crimson leaves not in its wake but ash. I had organized a very special tea party on the outskirts of Seed Hollow, attended by devotees of fabled works. An assemblage of weapons, my weapons, glistened in the afternoon sun.
You have quite the amazing collection. As an enthusiast, I've seen a number of fine blades over the years, but these are simply exquisite.
My dear knight, this is but a small taste. The best is yet to come.
Well, I'm something of a collector myself, you know. Seeing new works of art never gets old.
Yes, legends exist to inspire the heart. Release the chains that bind your emotions. Give in to liberation.
I'd like nothing more than to hear you regale us with the legends of these storied weapons. But shall we make the next one the last?
Well, I suppose a martial leader does need to stick to a strict schedule. And this party would last well into the following week were I to showcase all of my pieces. Captivated by my tales, my guests were at a fever pitch. It was time for the grand reveal. Coincidentally, I recently crossed paths with a sword of monumental acclaim and had the great opportunity to come into its ownership. I felt their expectant eyes on me. I am proud to announce the newest legend soon to join my collection, the one and only Excalibur!
What? That can't be.
Lancelot's cry of confusion was not the reaction I had envisioned. The excitement fizzled into disquietude. Did the legend of Excalibur not exist in their skydom? No. Judging by Lancelot and Sovon's dour grimaces, that did not appear to be the case.
Last I heard, Excalibur was in the hands of Fiendrock.
Correct. It should be closely guarded in our vaults, thus I cannot fathom it appearing for sale.
My beloved Excalibur already belonged to the kingdom of Fiendrock? How had I not heard of this? While I had no reason to doubt them, the name Excalibur was clearly written on the bill of sale. A pall of awkwardness settled upon my once mirthful event. Just when I thought my luck could not get any worse, an unexpected visitor arrived to pour salt on the wound.
There you are, Maglielle!
Sirocarte's voice was strained as she sprinted over. Why the rush? A shiver ran down my spine.
Now, you might want to sit down for this, but I have some bad news. The delivery of the sword you ordered has been delayed.
Oh? That was bad news. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. But Lancelot's reaction to Excalibur raised my suspicion.
I introduced you to the seller, so it's only right I take responsibility. I'll reach out to my contacts to see what I can find, and you'll be first to know if anything comes up.
That's all well and good, but if a third party was actively tampering with the newest addition to my collection, I was not about to sit idly by. Can you tell me what you know at the moment, Sierra? By the honor of the Sword Veil, I vowed to discover what was brewing behind the scenes. Oh, if only I'd put on more layers. According to Sierra, the seller was passing through Maglie's monastery. Eager to clear up this Excalibur mystery, my Tea Party guests accompanied me to Mount Nagelith. I could see why the mercantile group handling the sword chose to do business here. The blizzards provided excellent natural defenses. A touch excessive, but certainly a cost-effective way to deter would-be thieves.
Wait, someone's here.
A shadow emerged from the cover of Swirling White, who I could only assume was a merchant.
Howdy. Haven't seen you folks in my business circles. Travelers, I imagine?
Actually, we are a skyfaring crew. We are here to inquire after an order for Excalibur.
He stared at Lancelot. Clearly, the name didn't ring any bells.
Our good friend here ordered a so-called legendary sword, but it appears to be stuck in limbo. Could you point us to customer service?
Oh, that order. Don't know the full details, but the guy handling that transaction went off that-a-way.
We were on the right track. I had to hurry, lest the trail grow cold.
Wait! A word to the wise before you go. Certain people around here aren't too trusting of strangers. They might try to trick you down dangerous trails.
Red was their calling card, he explained. How conveniently conspicuous. I had the utmost confidence in myself to see through their lies. Our audience awaits. If I'm to claim that sword, I'll need information. Let us survey the local merchants.
I can feel the cold seeping into my bones. We must get moving.
Whoa! You folks popped out of nowhere!
We're gonna get ice! Everybody move!
Monster ahead! Best to hug the cliffs if you know what's good for you. I warned you, didn't I? What's done is done. We shall give it the attention it craves. I got you! My darling, the dance concludes!
Oh yeah. Take the blade. Too much for you.
Frozen blade! Hit them now!
They're on
My pleasure!
Got you!
I can't believe
Stay
it!
at the ready.
Eyes on the prize.
I believe we can move on.
Danger up ahead. Better watch out.
Dressed in red. In that case, pox on that bamboozler! Goodbye!
Infinito cadere!
I heard the supplier came all the way from Folka just to negotiate a price for the weapon.
So the supplier is from that small town in the Einstedo archipelago.
Excalibur. My precious Excalibur. Yo, hi. You didn't see that, okay?
Wanna know something juicy? We've got a legendary sword coming in. Should be worth a fortune.
That phrasing suggests the product hasn't even been delivered yet.
I remember this bridge. It was a long way down.
Mind you, these repairs were paid for by my own funds.
Whole shambling pile of nothing just ahead.
Here's our foe!
I'd turn back if I were you.
Treasure ahoy! And, of course, monsters. Why can't things ever be easy?
Oh dear, I hadn't meant to disturb their peace.
Then let us give them the rest they deserve. Prepare for battle.
Go forth, ensorcel! The dance concludes! Oh, pistol of demons!
Follow through. Prevail. The most formidable crew in the skies.
I nearly
Did you
played my
like what you
part.
saw? Looks like you put the bear too much. Right. Safeguard your position.
Goodbye. Quite the unwanted surprise. Let's see. Fine quality. Fine quality.
Excalibur. Bless me, where have I heard that name?
What up, crew? Sniffing around for that, new order, I take it? Sure, I got some deeds. Just pass a quick skill check, and it's all yours. Break all the barrels without moving from that spot over there. Should be easy, right?
It would be my pleasure to showcase the Sword Veil's exquisite arts. Behold! Steady now. Take deep breaths and let the magic flow. I've got you! There's no escape! Behold! My darling, here's our club! Only one more. Rend them in twain!
Bravo! Way to show those barrels!
So, wasn't expecting magic swords when I set up this challenge, but that was pretty cool. Well, promise is a promise. Get this, your masterpiece is made with scales from a legendary dragon. I can't let a beaut like that get away.
Dragon scales? Excalibur contains no such materials, I believe.
We've already come this far. I'd
The
love to
depths
go.
are loose!
Hey, are you guys Skyfarers? Please, I need your help. My wife and I got separated in the clearing up ahead. Monsters leapt out of the snow, and I just ran. Name your price, and I'll pay. Please, just rescue my beloved.
This mountain is filled with monsters. Let's try to stay out of sight.
Whoopsie! We've been spotted!
If Mother Nature refuses to avert her gaze, we shall give her an eyeful.
Oh, yeah. Protect the foot!
The essence of the veil.
Let's slow you down!
Go pierce us, shall we?
Continue our search.
The man's wife should be in this vicinity.
Can you walk, my dear? Then come along.
Thank you for saving me. I can't believe you defeated them all.
Oh yeah, you said you were looking into that sword, right? I'm pretty sure the smith has a daughter, and supposedly she's the whole reason he made it in the first place.
I think we'll learn no more from these mountain merchants. Let us return to town and regroup. The sword was no closer to being in my possession, but our investigation bore fruit. 3, in fact. First, the sword had yet to be delivered from the supplier in Folka. Second, it was crafted with scales from a legendary dragon. And last, the smith's own daughter was the reason for its creation.
Given what we know, the sword is a magnificent blade in its own right. However, it doesn't fit Excalibur's description.
Huh. Funny how those fibbers never mentioned the sword's name, not even a fake one.
Being the target of spite is one thing. I've come to terms with that. But I do not appreciate falling for a bait and switch. The sword I ordered was not the fabled Excalibur. Fine, so be it. But it was still considered legendary, was it not? The mysterious circumstances surrounding the blade were intriguing.
Maggie, listen. I know you're hurting without that sword. Believe me, I do. But you don't gotta run yourself ragged, especially since money hasn't changed hands yet.
I felt a pang of guilt for making the others fuss over me, but I couldn't bear the idea of both sword and cellar vanishing into the ether. There would be no greater shame for a clan of weapons collectors than to let a superlative item slip through our fingers. I am grateful to all of you for your assistance. Since this is a matter of Swordvale customs, I shall carry out my investigation alone from here on out.
We understand. If there's anything you need from us, don't hesitate to ask. We're always here for you.
Thank you, Catalina. Seeing the kind smiles on my friends' faces, I struggled to keep my emotions in check. Did I truly deserve their warmth? Circumstances had once sounded a clarion call to draw my blades against these people, to strike them down, yet they still welcomed me with open arms. Perhaps the best way to return their kindness was to spend more time with them. I planned to make the next tea party an even grander affair, with my new legendary sword set to debut.
Need something? Let's see.
Now, armed with the knowledge that the supplier was in Folka, I inquired after the sword at the town smithy. But my questions only drew restless, reticent answers.
It's being touted as a legendary sword. Can't argue with the truth.
Although the blacksmith was acquainted with the bladesmith who forged the sword, recently all correspondence had abruptly ceased. None knew what had become of the fellow.
Ah, good man. Lives out by Skyworm Valley. If anyone's got the skill to forge a blade worthy of mythic caliber, it's him.
Unfortunately, life had not been kind to the master bladesmith. His creations were crafted with loving care, reflected in glowing appraisals, but his wares were in dreadfully short supply. Unable to make ends meet, he ultimately fell into poverty. Lacking the wherewithal to hire skyfarers, he would venture out alone for materials, each time braving death. And to think he did this for his daily bread.
He must be really hurting for money if he's selling the one I think he is. I only knew he was selling a sword.
The more I heard about the bladesmith and the sword I had been promised, the more excited I became. This legend promised to be a story to pass down through the ages, one that would strike a chord with all who listened. You see, particularly unique weapons tend to be imparted with a legacy. I endeavored to give these magnificent works of art a stage to shine on and keep them out of the hands of miscreants. It was as much for those reasons as it was for my honor and pride. The supplier must have thought me odd, for I was too wound up to keep still. I badgered the poor man to reveal the location of the sword maker until he finally caved.
So, it looks like a storm battered the airways around Skyworm Valley pretty bad. That seems to be what's holding up the bladesmith.
Sierra had arrived in Folca with unfortunate news. According to her, all ships en route to Skyworm Valley have been temporarily grounded.
Natural disasters are just a natural part of doing business, I'm afraid. Such a shame. I was hoping to get a gander at the blade that's got my fellow merchants salivating. They've taken to calling it the Sentinel of the Sky.
I'd never once heard of that moniker. Hardly a legendary weapon then. But Sierra assured me that it was a sublimely crafted sword that no other blacksmiths could hope to replicate. Seeing as the bladesmith had no way to reach Folca, it fell on me to meet him instead.
Uh-oh, I know that look. You're thinking about zooming off to Skyworm Valley, aren't ya? I shouldn't have to remind you how dangerous that is.
She was absolutely correct, and I knew that. In addition to navigating wind currents powerful enough to sink airships, would I even safely make landfall? Still, as if by some premonition, an irresistible urge pushed me onward. I knew deep down that if I chose to give up the blade here, I would surely come to regret it. I was ready with a successor should the worst come to pass. I looked Sierra Carte in the eye and gave her a thick tome. Sierra, in the event I do not return, could you ensure that the clan's records reach my adjutant, Trulin? Between its covers was the entire history of our clan, from the deeds of our founders to this latest chapter I've been penning. Guy Bulg was my first superlative acquisition of mythic proportions, which was ceded to me by Trulin. A trustworthy ally, it has seen me through thick and thin. Mjolnir, with its crushing blows of justice, was given to me by another adjutant, Ramlasona. Caduceus, a symbol of oath-keeping, was entrusted to me by Andoril, an individual who once saved the clan from dire peril. As for Freykugel, Uncle Batolia had demanded a different direction for the clan, and the matter was settled with a duel. Thus did the Pistol of Demons fall into my lap, along with my tears. Each of the swords in my arsenal bears the name of a loved one. Little Utalia, Jara, Jabril, my dear Sandrilla, Grigaro, Barbarilla, my mentor, Raylene. Entrusted to me by their former owners, these were all treasured keepsakes. Some among them were a reminder of those who had given their lives for the clan. Taking up their weapons was akin to inheriting their hopes and dreams. Every swing of their swords, my swords, carried the weight of their legacies. And now, I felt a burgeoning certainty that yet another grand legacy awaited me at the end of my travails.
You're sure you're going then? All right. I'm happy to hold on to your tome for you, but be sure to come back and pick it up.
I imagine the first instinct of most would be to ridicule me for my foolishness. Perhaps to them, weapons were merely the sum of their parts. But I know they all have a tale to tell, and I would be their storyteller. An untold legend was waiting to be discovered in Skyworm Valley. Amid Ainstedo Archipelago's collection of islands, I finally spotted my destination, the bladesmith's smithy in Skyworm Valley. The rough winds threatened to fling me about as a rag doll, and it took all my strength to fight through the tempest. Had the island been any farther away, I may very well have perished on this flight. The relief I felt from making a safe landing was short-lived. There were no signs of life as I approached the smithy, nor when I knocked on the door. Pardon me, is anyone home? Only silence greeted me. I placed my hand on the doorknob. It's not locked. I crept into the dingy smithy. The creak of my first step was immediately joined by the barely audible sound of a second.
Go away!
A girl scurried out from behind an overturned table. Bundled protectively in her arms was a sword with a cerulean blade. Oh, how my heart fell for it at first sight. My dedication to this hunt had paid off. It was finally within grasp. The blade was breathtaking. It gleamed with a transparent quality reminiscent of a clear blue sky.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I do apologize for the intrusion. Rest assured, I am not... I quickly realized the absurdity of claiming innocence while standing uninvited in someone else's home. But the child's consternation was merited, given the atrocious state of the room. Tools and furnishing lay strewn about as if the smithy had been ransacked. Where are my manners? My name is Maglielle, and I've been sent to investigate the curious winds plaguing this valley. Now, may I have your name?
Blue.
In truth, children were never my forte, but luckily I had been something of an elder sister to Id, so I knew not to frighten the poor thing. Dear, I know it's scary, but can you tell me what happened here?
It's my papa. There's a dragon in the valley, and it killed my papa.
Her situation was more dire than I could have imagined. I gently prodded for more details. After she gathered her courage, I learned that, yes, the blade she clutched was indeed the creation I sought. But she also revealed her father, as a famed blacksmith, had braved the dragon's lair at the center of the valley to retrieve a few of its scales. He never came home, and the wind had since become violent.
And on top of all that, there's those stupid goblins who always try to raid Papa's smithy. The big one saw my sword, so now I have to hide.
Bereft of its only defender, a neglected forge would make a tempting target for such bestial miscreants. Had this girl not suffered enough? Fear no more, dear. I shall dispose of dragon and goblin both. Of that, you have my word. Ha ha! I gave Blue a hearty laugh of confidence, honed from days leading the Sword Vale under Avia's banner. And for her part, she smiled softly in return. Fearing Blue had gone without food or water for a few days, I retrieved a loaf of traveler's bread from my satchel. She was instantly enamored. I'm afraid the taste is quite bland. Had I better foresight, I would have packed pancakes.
I love pancakes!
She seemed to be responding better now that her hunger and loneliness were partially alleviated. She even managed a genuine smile. But I could no longer defer the topic at hand. I had to inquire about the sword. My dear, I mentioned earlier I had come to investigate the abnormal winds, but that is only half the story.
Okay.
It's about that cerulean blade of yours. You see, your father made me a promise. Or, well, Rather, I purchased it from your father. Her tiny hand dropped the bread, and my spirits along with it. Still, I wouldn't keep this poor child in the dark.
Papa sold my sword?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Holding my breath, I showed her the bill of sale. Her eyes widened when she recognized her father's chicken scratch. Finally, she gave a meek nod. Frowning as if she were giving away a piece of herself, she bit her lip before finally presenting to me the sword with all the pride of a blacksmith's daughter.
A promise is a promise. This sword's not called Excalibur, but your paper looks right. Just please take care of it.
I took the sword and instantly knew that it was a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. From the polish and temper of the metal to the immaculate embellishments etched into the hilt, the sword was clearly a labor of love. As I was poring over the exquisite craftsmanship, I caught a tiny inscription etched just above the hilt. Ah, that's why she cherished this blade so. Suddenly, a piercing screech startled me back to reality.
That roar! It's the dragon that hurt Papa!
Blue bolted out of the smithy. Blue, stop at once! I gripped the cerulean sword tighter before giving chase. The girl was light on her feet as she wound through the twisting valley walls. The air, even as it buffeted my face, felt oppressive. The dragon hadn't even made its presence known yet, and already we were feeling the effects of its aura. Sensing the danger, I called out to Blue. Blue, I shall face that dragon. Find a safe place to hide and... Huh? The girl stopped in her tracks and turned to face me. Her stare was filled with the intensity of a love lost and the bravery of a survivor ready to prove her worth. I knew that look of defiance, that burning spirit of fury and determination. It was the same look once held by the man who'd given me the courage to defy my own fate. Very well. You may accompany me, as long as you promise to hide once the sparks begin to fly.
Promise.
I knew not if I was possessed of the strength to match a dragon's might. But Blue had already lost so much, and I would never abandon her, lest I sully the honor of the Sword Veil. Come! The curtains are ready to rise!
Look up! That's the dragon that killed my papa!
The show's about to begin. Be good and stay out of sight, okay?
Okay, fine.
Those tornadoes are a byproduct of its power. Stay vigilant as we proceed. Oh, how very delightful. Come. Take my hand.
Wait, listen. It's that one goblin.
Still after the sword, it seems. He can try and fail to pry it from my hands.
Be careful. The dragon is that way. It'll try to hurt you too. Oh, you're going to fight that goblin first?
I've got you! I've got you! Dragon or goblin? Who shall have the first dance?
There! That's him!
Break them!
I didn't know what you're doing!
This marvelous treasure was forged with heart and soul paradise. But such an uncouth wielder does not befit such an exquisite blade. Now, are we up for dragon slaying?
Yeah! That's just a dead end.
I've got you!
When I grow up, I want to be a blade master and protect people.
That's my dream. I'm sure it will come true. I have full faith in you. Since we're not busy... Now then.
I wish my papa were here. Then these little dragons wouldn't be so scary.
Oh, Blue.
I hate you! Give me back my papa!
Step back, Blue. I know how you feel, but let me handle this. Get... Rend it! Go pierce our foe! I've got it! Get over here! Watch them! Every foe has a talent! Rend them in twain! The dance concludes! Break them into the smallest of pieces! No, we can do it together!
Papa. Thank you.
it out, Blue. So, tea break, anyone?
Oh, Maglielle! Welcome back!
I smiled at Sierra Carte's warm welcome. Knowing her intuition, the whimsical merchant had realized we would need a ride back after dealing with the dragon. And now that the winds had died down, she'd summoned a rescue ship from Folka to be our steed. Or at least that's what I assumed, seeing the Folka Defense Corps members standing at attention behind her.
I believe this belongs to you.
She handed me the Sword Veil's Chronicle, and immediately I knew I had another chapter to pen. It would center around a sword known as the Sentinel of the Sky, and the resolve of a girl named Blue. I turned to her. If I may, Blue, while you've been very brave, you've barely begun the journey of your life. I'm afraid a life of solitude is far too dangerous for a child.
In that case, why not come live in Folka for a while?
My, what impeccable timing! According to the Defense Corps captain, a support center of sorts had been established for victims displaced by the disaster in Tempeel. Surely she'd be much safer there.
Plus, there'll be other kids you can hang out with. What do you think? Sounds fun, right?
Lord Percival had done a brilliant job of transforming the Corps. They were actually, dare I say, competent? I am inclined to agree. Now, my dear, shall we go back together? Blue gave a final look at her father's smithy before turning to me and smiling.
I made up my mind. Since you think it's a good idea, I'll go.
Blue had long dreamt of wielding the sword to safeguard her loved ones. But judging how she stood firm against the dragon, her wish seemed closer to reality than fantasy. Why, with proper training, this sprightly young thing would make a fine blade master. Folka is home to a sword master and his school. I'm sure he would be elated to welcome a new pupil.
That sounds fun. One day, I'll be as strong as you, miss.
Under supervision of the Defense Corps, Blue boarded the ship, and I was relieved she would find a happier ending. But I, conversely, had another matter to discuss with Sierra. Correct me if I'm wrong, but several crew members have mentioned you're something of a wizard when it comes to weapon enhancement. Is that true? Blue's sword had yet to reach its full potential, and I had kept some of the dragon's scales for myself. If Sierra knew of a way to unlock the secrets of the blade, I was ready to try.
Yep, you heard right. I'm always taking new orders. Just try not to be too shocked by the sticker price. Pushing a weapon past its limits eats a ton of resources.
That would mean buckling down, but no matter, a worthy cause deserved diligent effort. Yes, that won't be a problem. If you would just have a look at this blade. I bore fear and excitement in equal measure. Though I'm certain she's a master of her craft, to have a legendary blade sullied would be, well, unspeakable. A sudden gust of wind swept through the valley. It was both a check on my unbridled anticipation and a herald of things to come.